Good morning, friends. It is just after 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's see, 8:19 on Saturday morning. And I am on my way over to one of the local schools here for the annual Birth and Baby Expo, the Twin Cities Birth and Baby Expo. I've gone every year for a lot of years now. I guess all of them. I think I've gone to all of them. I want to say relatively new. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 years old. And I've gone for all of them since they began in the Twin Cities. They started over at a school in Minneapolis, and then they've moved over here to St. Paul. They were at, actually, just walkable at Central High School, which is a few blocks away from our house. That's where our daughter goes. And now they're at a school where our other older daughter used to attend, called Capitol Hill Gifted and Talented Magnet. Just word to the wise, just because your kid gets into Capitol Hill doesn't mean that they're getting the gifted and talented services that their brain needs. Just so you know, St. Paul people. Anyhow, so I'm on my way to the Birth and Baby Expo, and it's really funny timing because Travis and I usually go together, and he's not here this year. You all know he's out of town. And I just put out my video for my 19-week pregnancy update on Thursday, and I decided to make this addendum to that this morning on my way there. I just stopped at Groundswell Midway. Shout out Groundswell Midway. Excuse me, for a brevet and a breakfast sandwich, and to kind of treat myself because I'm up this early. Well, I was up earlier on a Saturday morning after not getting home until almost 1 o'clock in the morning from Bohemian Rhapsody last night with my friends. But I wanted to do this video because yesterday, was it yesterday, or maybe it was, yeah, it was yesterday. It wasn't Thursday. Yesterday I got a message, and this keeps happening, you guys. This keeps happening on Instagram, that after I post a video about pregnancy and birthing and my philosophies behind it, I get somebody messaging me, asking me for advice. And not just advice on, you know, how do I approach this thing with this person, or, you know, stuff like that. It's, my midwife said that I should do this thing. What are your thoughts? And I am always very clear in my videos. These are my opinions. This is what works for me. If it's not what works for you, then do what works for you, right? I'm very adamant that unless I am seeing any reason why I would need to go to the hospital, I don't. I'm very much an advocate for women birthing with whomever they want to and wherever they want to. For myself, that is with my husband and my children in my home. Now, there are people in the world and a lot of home birth enthusiasts. I don't like using that word because it makes it sound like a sport. A lot of or activists too. I don't feel that this is activism. I feel like it's just, this is living. This is how I live my life. We have encountered over the years a number of people, often led by the same horrifically hateful woman whose name I will not utter on this channel. But those of you who've been around the natural birth, home birth, unassisted childbirth movement for long enough know exactly to whom I'm referring. They like to go on YouTube channels or contact individual women or go on home birth message boards, basically to troll and try to get women to dispense to them medical advice. Because they seem to think that if you dispense medical advice to them, they've gotcha. And they'll call the police on you and have CPS rip your children away from you and all of this nonsense. But they're very obvious people, and I've gotten several of them in the last number of weeks. And it's usually something along the lines of what I got yesterday, which was, I'm 37 years old, ha ha ha, in parentheses. And my midwife suggested that I take an aspirin. How do you feel about this? My answer was, I don't use allopathic medicine for much of anything, except for my asthma, because that's one area that I cannot control, and thus I rely on medical technology. I rely on that pharmaceutical to help me breathe so that I don't die. I've never had an instance in pregnancy where I've ever needed anything to prevent me from dying. When I have had concerns about things, I go see somebody. So this woman messages me and says, I was told I should take, my midwife said I should take an aspirin. And I said, if you're comfortable with it, maybe start with a baby aspirin. That's up to you. And I asked, did she say what you'd be taking it for, or did you come up, I don't remember how I worded it, or what is it that you're concerned about that you'd be taking it for? And then of course she spouted the ACOG, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, their determination that women women who are in their geriatric pregnancy years ought to take an aspirin to prevent preeclampsia. And, that was basically what her response was to me too. And I had already looked at her profile too, and it's a private profile, but she puts in her bio RN. So I'm like, it's kind of a dead giveaway. And all of these people have these giveaways too. There are tells every single time that they're either a birth fetishist who's just like trying to get off by talking about being pregnant, and they're typically men, or they are anti-women's autonomy activists who troll women on the internet, and that's what this was. And they're always obvious. But anyways, so I responded to her, meh, ACOG is medical model. Do what works for you. If you feel like following your midwife's advice, then do it. If not, don't. I'm not your midwife or advisor. I just do what works for me. And I left it at that. I doubt I'll hear from her again. But they send these things to bait women like me who are confident in our choices, who are well trained. I mean, remember, I'm a trained midwife. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know the physiology of birth. But they come after women instead of, going after the medical institution that sees closing in on a 40% cesarean rate, that sees black women dying in droves compared to white women, that sees very preventable deaths in the medical world, that doctors don't notice because they don't pay attention to the real physiology of birth, and very few of them have actually seen a normal, unmedicated, unfettered with birth. So that's what women like myself deal with when we decide to talk publicly about the birth practices that come naturally to human beings, and those of us who have it caved to the fear of the medical model that the medical model puts on women. So I wanted to make this video and say, I see you. I see you. I see what you're doing when you message me trying to get me to dispense my medical advice. If you want my recipe for potato soup, because it's super healthy for you, or you want my recipe for the wintertime for cream of mushroom soup, which is super good and I highly recommend because of all of the vitamin D that you'll ingest eating it. You know, I'm more than happy if you want to talk about dietary stuff, if you want to talk about and you want to get my advice on those areas, or my advice on how to handle people who want to press your boundaries, like what these people are doing, then please do message me. But if you are one of these internet trolls who fall in league with this unnameable woman who we all know who I'm talking about, waste your keystrokes because I see you every single time. You're obvious. You're obvious. I'm not going to tell you all of the ways in which you're obvious either. But I see you every single time, and I've gotten one or two every time I've done one of these pregnancy update videos. So I'm going to sit, with that said, in my car. I'm at the school now. It's pretty chilly out this morning. There have been years that it's been snowing on this morning. There was one year a woman came, she had a brand new baby with her, and the baby was just in like a sleeper, and she was just holding the baby, and the baby didn't have a hat on or anything like that, and I don't know, maybe a couple of months old baby. We were waiting outside to get in because there's usually a little bit of a line that forms because they always have a goodie bag that's filled with stuff that you won't necessarily get at, going around at the booths and whatnot. And so these people give away some pretty good goodies too in the goodie bags. It's pretty impressive. The baby was like, it was cold and it was snowy, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I went to my van and I got a couple of things and I just gave them to the woman. I'm like, you need to cover your baby up. And I wasn't rude about it or anything, but I was really concerned for the baby because it was cold and it was snowing. And the baby was obviously cold, and the mom was obviously worried but didn't want to. It was very clear she didn't want to own it and admit that she needed a little bit of help with that. But anyways, there's usually a line, and it starts at 9:30, and let's see, what time is it now? It's 8:30 now, so I'm just gonna sit in my car and I'm going to upload this video, and I'm going to eat my breakfast sandwich and drink my brevet and take my time and then go in. I enjoyed this little chat this morning. I hope you can hear it over the drone of my vehicle and the heating going. And if you have any questions or want to chat about this or any pregnancy topic, let me know. Drop it in the comments, and I'm happy to address it. If you feel like you need to DM me on Instagram, then by all means, but know that if you're a troll, I see who you are. So you can find me here. You can find me on Instagram at Radical Mothering, and of course on Facebook, same name. I'll talk to you guys soon. Give a thumbs up and like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm so excited about the number of subscribers I've received recently, and I'm really encouraged by that. So keep them coming. I'm excited to have you here. So subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to get in on the first viewings of the videos I post, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.